Here we are, live in the goat shed. So it's Saturday morning here, the 7th of December 2024. I didn't advertise this live stream. It happened a bit quick. We've had a bit of an eventful week, so I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. But look, it's about 25 degrees Celsius here, which would be in the 70s Fahrenheit. Very humid, terrible, filthy heat. Dog hair all over me. Don't have a pug dog, you get hair all over you. Yeah, so yesterday morning I got a phone call, or a text actually, from Graham, and he's actually in hospital. Now, he's okay. We don't think it's super serious, but he had a series of tests yesterday and he was awaiting the outcome of those, and he'll probably get those a little later on today. So I'm sure those of you out there send him good wishes. As I said, he's okay, but like anything, when you're admitted to hospital, you have to go to the emergency department. They obviously want to have a look at you and assess what's going on. Now, the other part of the week involved us making a road trip. We did about a 3.5 hour each way, so a 7-hour road trip to the mid-north coast of New South Wales here, up to a place called Southwest Rocks, a coastal village, kind of a holiday area. So probably, what is it, about 2.5 weeks now till Christmas. It'll get rather busy. They've got caravan parks and holiday parks and that up there, and very popular surfing spot for both surfers and a fishing spot. So a guy that we sort of have known for some years has decided to sell his pinball collection, as he has to move. He's moving out of the area, he's moving interstate, and he contacted Graham last Sunday night, I think it was, to say that he was actually wanting to sell his gear. So he made us aware of what he had, and we sort of went up. We said, well, we'll have a look at that. Excuse me, I've had a bad head cold for the last 2 weeks, just can't shake it off. He gave us a list of machines, and there was about 15, 16 of them. But what we've ended up buying, we bought a Klondike. Now that's Graham's favourite machine, Klondike. He's wanted one for years. This one the guy's owned for about 10 years. He reluctantly selling his machines, but you've got to do what you got to do. So we bought that. We bought a Williams Triple Action, a Williams Casanova 2-player game, a Gottlieb Buccaneer, a Gottlieb Hit the Deck, and a Pro Football, a Gottlieb Pro Football. Now, I should reiterate, we didn't buy these. Our apprentice Kyle bought them, and Graham's going to buy the Klondike off him. There were other games there which we missed out on because they were offered to somebody, or promised to be offered to somebody as first right of refusal, and that person took that up, and that was a Abracadabra, and what else was it? Oh, a Solar City. Yeah, Gottlieb Solar City. There are a few other games there. There was Williams Wiggler, Capersville, and 4 million, Bally Wiggler, Capersville, and 4 million BC, 3 zipper flipper games, but we weren't really interested in those ourselves. And there's also a Zachariah Universe there, which I don't think we are really interested in either. So that's what we did then, and Kyle's rented a truck and going up there next Thursday to pick all those up and bring them back, and they all work, but they also all need a little bit of work, adjustments, and just little things, you know, that you'd expect to have to do when you buy a pinball machine. I don't think the guys played a lot of them for a while, and you know, some of them started off with little problems, and those problems improved as you played them, you know, that sort of thing, with the dirty switches and everything. Well, as it's drawing close to the end of the year, we'll be actually closing here on Saturday, the 21st, so 2 Saturdays away at 12 noon, and we're going to have a little bit of a longer break this year. We're going to recharge the batteries, and we also want to clean up the shed a little bit. So we'll return on January 6th. That's a Monday. What we'll do is vacuum the floor and clean all the benches out a bit and get ready for next year. So who we got? We've got someone just come and said hello. Who was that? Jamie Starr. Hi, Jamie. How are you? Thanks for joining us. As I mentioned earlier, this was we have been announcing when we're going to be doing these things in the past, but because of Graham being in hospital at the moment, and I just didn't really get around to it on Thursday, because bear in mind it's Saturday morning here in Australia, and of course since Friday early to mid-afternoon, depending on where you are in the USA. You own a Target Alpha, Jamie. Okay, well, we see a lot of those here in Australia. 4-player game, very popular. If you may have heard, we just mentioned we went and looked at those machines, and there was a Solar City, which is the 2-player version of Target Alpha. Lots of drop targets on it. Just over my shoulder here, we've got a Jungle Queen we're working on. This is we've had 2 queens and a princess in the last couple of months since I went to the United States. We're just up to the point of testing this one here. Just a couple of little problems to fix on it. We've got a left flipper, the big 3-inch flipper, sticking a little bit, and the top right kick out hole I just noticed is randomly adding 5,000 points. The switch are way too close. So just 2 little adjustments, and we'll be getting very close to finishing that. So Jamie, you're in California, are you? I've just spent some time in October in San Diego. I was there from September 29th, and I left on September 5th, and then I came back on September 24th. I have friends. I went to Pinball Expo, and I went to York White Rose Game Room Show in Pennsylvania, and did a lot of other private tours. Randy Peck's New Pike Arcade, Tom Taylor's in Wisconsin, and I met a couple of fairly interesting people while I was there that I hadn't met in the past. So what do we got? We got yeah, hi Mitch. Yeah, Graham's quite stoked to finally have a Klondike, and that's getting picked up on Thursday from Andy's, and we're sorry we missed you. We got there a little bit earlier than anticipated, and you came a little bit later, so our planets didn't cross on Tuesday, but that's all good. So with that said, and these machines coming back, this guy Kyle has been buying machines up now for a little while, and he's just recently acquired a Card Whiz. Now that also came from up your way, Mitch, the mid-north coast. I think that came from Coffs Harbour or somewhere like that. Sawtell maybe, not sure. So that's it here we're working on at the moment, and it's Oh, there's Spanky. Its player unit was totally seized up, so we've had to pull that down and give it a bit of an overhaul. There you go, it's just come out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Got a little bit of rust there to clean off it. Kyle can do that, it's his machine. I had a lot of trouble getting the shoulder screw out, so what I did, I turn it up like that, and then where the screw comes out here, I sat penetrating oil and WD-40, a bit of a mixture, laid it flat like that overnight, came in yesterday morning, gave it a little bit of a twist and it came loose. They get really tight. I don't know why, they burred the end of the screws a little bit. Whoops. Now here we go. I bumped it, didn't I? It doesn't like that. Bear with me a second, people. Bear with me. There we go. There we go, that's just the micro. Mucking that up. So, yeah, that's a little tip for you. We use a penetrating oil. Where is it? It's called Penetrine. That's been around for 1,000 years. Don't know if you can get that overseas. Let's see, where's it made? Does tell us, does it? Oh, that comes out of Victoria. Quick Smart products. Anyway, any good penetrating oil will do you. You don't need much, you just need a drop, and away you go. So we're just starting that, but yeah, I've just come in this morning and pulled it all out of the ultrasonic cleaner, and you know, just I cleaned all the cams for him as soon as he wasn't here. Kyle still has a job, unlike us. Gave them a good, they were filthy dirty. Now straight away, people, you can see there's 2 white and 2 red cams on there. As soon as you see that, that configuration means it's out of a 2-player game, because the red cams only have one notch on them, on each part of the cam, where the white ones have the 5. So they use the red ones as Z1 and Z2 on a player game. So the way it works, player 1, player 2, reset player 1, reset player 2, and that's the home position. We have the cam. And bear in mind, people, if you ever pull these out of a game and you accidentally pull them apart, yeah, they do come apart, always when they go back together, you end up with an alignment like that, straight through. See what I mean? Back cam, front cam, like that. And then the others are offset. But in the back of all the manuals it shows you that. So take my word for that. The other thing I wanted to mention, when I was in America, I met a lot of people, and some people pre-ordered these, and I gave some away to friends, but we still have some of these goat shed magnets for sale, fridge magnets. You know, they just go on the back of your fridge, they've got the little magnetic strip there. Now they're $5 each if you come and pick them up in Australia here, which I know a lot of people can't. They're $10 posted in Australia, or they're $15 US posted to America. But you've just got to send us the $15 US. So if anyone wants any of them, we've only got about maybe 15 to 20 left. And we probably, I don't know that we'll ever do another run of those. We're still hoping to get some of those goat shed signs remade. We'll look at that earlier in the year. We've had a lot of expenses with parts this year. I bought back from America US, I think just under $1,000 worth of bits and pieces. It all adds up. That included a whole pile of rubbers that we bought. We bought 225 1/16 pinballs. They're coming back in a container. We couldn't possibly bring that weight back in baggage. Various hardware. I bought back a lot of roll pins, the 1/8 roll pins, like go in the flippers and things and stuff. E or C clips, whatever you care to call them. I bought some of those. I bought some nuts, because bear in mind, people, viewers from overseas, we can't easily get American or imperial type threads here in Australia any longer. Once upon a time we could, but we've been metric since the 70s, and it's been difficult. Yeah, hi Jeff Taylor, hi. I think you've been with us before. Where are you from, Jeff? And what's yeah. No, that's okay, Mitch. We understand. You've got things to do, and we left to go up the mid-north coast at 7 a.m. in the morning. Oh, probably it'd be true for about 7. And we got home at 4:30 in the afternoon after spending just over an hour at the guy's house having a look at the machines and various other things. And we just stopped and got some lunch and came straight home. So it was a bit of a long day. We didn't get any rest and recreation out of it, but it was quite enjoyable anyway. So 4 of us actually went. Graham, myself, Kyle, the guy that bought the machines, our apprentice, and Brett. Oh, Michigan. Right. Excellent. Where were we in Michigan? The closest we got was we got to Clay Harrell's. Near Ann Arbor there. I just can't think of the name of the place where he is. It's in the middle of nowhere though, if anyone's ever been out there. You go up this dirt road and yeah, oh, buy us a pint. Well, Spanky would have liked that. Yeah, never mind. Hopefully be back in 2026, so year after next. Getting older now. Have to travel while I still can. I think Spanky wants to go away again. Hello from Minnesota. Hello, Tim Bobber. How you doing? You're one of our YouTube viewers, I know. You often make comments on our videos. And just speaking of videos, if you haven't already seen it, we've actually put a video up about Jungle Queen earlier this week. I think that was Wednesday or Thursday. And just another thing I wanted to mention, when I was in California, I've gotten to be quite good friends with the former Gottlieb designer John Osborne, and I did a video with him, which is on our site. It's about 3 or 4 videos back, and it's called Up Close and Personal with John Osborne. Now, surprisingly, it hasn't had a lot of hits. Maybe it was because I did a video on the first week I was there with him. We spent a day after we'd been to Randy Peck's, but the video I did on the Wednesday before leaving, John gives us some interesting insights into life at Gottlieb and some of the things that he did as an individual, as a design engineer there, and some of the things he did with or suggested to people. So have a look at that, because John speaks of something about Gottlieb's Bronco, which was designed by Ed Krinsky, which is quite interesting how he made a suggestion. And he also talks about how he used to get frustrated playing pro football, and when he was asked by Wayne Nyans to make a 2-player version of that, which was called Gridiron, a change he made to eliminate frustration. Now, I won't go into it. You watch the video and have a look if you haven't watched it. It's well worth watching. I think it's about 35 minutes out of your day, and we could have done so much more. And just speaking about that, a good friend of mine, Will White, actually did a video with John Osborne, and the machine that they made, only one of these machines exists, and it now lives in Long Beach, California. It's called Texas Ranger, I think it is. It was a machine Gottlieb made with the intent of possibly going into the home market with pinball machines. Now I know Bally did that with, like, they've got a Captain Fantastic, and I've only ever seen one of those once. I think I saw one in America a couple of years ago. But that video will come out, and I will be putting a link on our YouTube, on our Facebook page concerning that. You'll see a link to on our Facebook page also, where Will did a video with Larry Zartarian at the Pacific Pinball Museum in Alameda, San Francisco area there, on the 13th of October, on the games that Krinsky made, 4 of the games Krinsky made, pinball machines designed while he was at Keeney. And that's really, really interesting. So that link's on our Facebook page, so have a look at that. And speak about YouTube, about a month ago we had a young guy come around here to the Goat Shed. He's based here in Newcastle, where we live in a suburb, and he's doing videos on things from the past, like, for argument's sake, he's got one on a guy that restores LED light windows and that sort of thing, and various other things. Anyway, long story short, a friend of mine sent me a link to where he was asking for people with unusual hobbies from the... So anyway, I just sent him a thing and said, oh, hi, this is who we are, you know, this is what we do. And this happened when I was in America. And anyway, I thought, I probably won't hear anything of it, but I thought I'd better do something about it, send as my friend. Took the trouble to send me that. Anyway, the guy got back to me and he was super excited. Oh, yeah, man, I want to come round. That's pinball machines, blah, blah, blah. And I explained to him that he's not going to see, you know, the solid state, the digital type machines. He's going to see the old mechanical ones. And he understood. He's only a young fella. I really don't think he'd seen too many electromechanical pinball machines in his life. But needless to say, he came around here on, I think it was November 5th, and he sent me the edited version of the video. I think he spent about maybe half hour filming, and he's cut it down to about 8 minutes. He only tends to do short videos, but it's quite good. So when that comes up, I'll put a link to that, and it just we talk a little bit about ourselves, and Graham and that talks about how he got into pinball and so on and so forth. So that's all pretty interesting. Oh, here we go again. Why did it do that? I don't know. I'll just hold it like that. It might steady up. The only nuisance about this... Now, hang on, we're going to have to... I got this in the gimbal to hold it steady. We'll get it back. Yeah, sorry. Bit of a nuisance, that one. I'll have to get those lapel microphones. That guy actually used those in that video I was just talking about. Alright, have I missed anyone here? Let's have a look. Okay, no, we're all up to date there, that's good. So we'll be making a video on this card whiz that we're working on. When we probably next week. Kyle only works with us a few days a week, so hopefully we'll get that out before Christmas. Excuse me. We just thought we'd do this last. I think this will be the last live thing, because next Saturday, being the 14th, we have our annual Goat Shed Christmas lunch. Now, in the past, we've had that, gone to a club or a pub and had it, but this time, even though it's completed by Christmas last year, we've got that back deck. We'll be holding it out there. I think we've got about maybe 14 people coming or something like that. It's not big. We just anyone. We ask people to register their interest on our Facebook page, and anyone that wants to pop round can come round. Anyone local watching, you're more than welcome to come down and say hello from 11 a.m. this Saturday. But we had to get numbers for catering, so you might miss out on food. But we'll try and help you out if you can make it, you want to put the effort into making it. I've got a couple of offers already to go back when we go back to the States, so we'll be having a look at those and see what I think. Can't give too much away yet, but it does sound good, one of the things to do, and I'll certainly be giving that consideration. Obviously, planning to go over to America it's difficult because we've got to get around. So many people want you to go to different places, and it becomes a little bit, how would we say, awkward to get everywhere you need to go, and then you end up on a time critical situation. But one thing I will say, that whenever we go, we'll always go to the York White Rose Game Room show. That's where a lot of our friends are, and they can't get to Expo, or don't go, whatever the case may be. I spend a bit of time in San Diego because I've got personal friends there, and I stay with them, and I love that area. It really reminds me of like Newcastle here. It's a city right on the, downtown's right on the harbour, and you've got that big naval presence out there, and there are actually a lot of pinball people around there that I wasn't aware of in that part of the world, and some of them I haven't actually got to catch up with yet, and I've still got so much more to see. But I do want to go over to like the East Coast and like North Carolina, South Carolina. I'd like to go and meet Ronnie and Joe from Joe's Classic Arcade. I think they're in South Carolina. Apparently they don't travel much. They're great guys. And I'd just like to have a look at the area in general. So in other words, next time I want to probably do a bit less pinball and more of a holiday while I'm still reasonably healthy. Although the way I feel with this head cold at the moment, that I'm not so good. Some other things we'll be doing here next year, we'll be running another training course, so we'll have that coming up. We hope to get at least half a dozen people here, 4 at a minimum. Not sure when that'll occur yet. Most likely end of February, early March. Don't want to have it in the heat of the summer because, we have got an air conditioner in this shed, but it doesn't do a lot. You can't fit 6 people in here, and the veranda can get a bit warm up there too, unless there's a nice breeze. Yeah, so that'll be then. What else we got to do? Big celebrity? No, I don't think so, Jeff. We're just a couple of guys doing what we enjoy, and this is what I say. Anyone that watched, although I did a talk at Expo, that's all on, what's he call himself? Can't think at the moment. Martin Ayub. He has, the UK. I just can't think of it. They videotape all the things, well, most of them at Expo. That's on there. And what I spoke about, or one of the things I emphasised, I shall say, is the fact that if we don't get more younger people into this hobby, we're going to have people not know how to repair electromechanical pinballs. We don't want that. We want many people to learn as much as possible and apply themselves. And we hope that older guys like Graham and I, although I won't, I'm 71 now. I started in this hobby late. I've only been in it 10 years, just under. Graham's only 62, but still you're over 60. You're getting on in years. You're more than 3/4 of your life almost fulfilled, and people have got to learn to fix them. Now, any of you watching that know anybody that wants to learn, I mean, you've got things like, in America, you've got things like Mark Gibson. He runs around doing, not only does the online coaching clinics, which, by the way, one will be coming up next Friday night. That'll be the, what is that? Hang on a second, I'll have a quick look. Friday the 13th. So there's Mark Gibson's coaching clinic. If anyone's got any issues or problems that they've been having trouble with, and they can meet the criteria with the app that he uses, which is Jitsi, go to Mark's site, fill in the form, and he'll get back to you. So that's Saturday morning here for me, and of course, of daylight saving here and different time zones in America. I think it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, so I'll do a little bit of that before we start our little get-together. So you've got Mark also goes from time to time, if you look at his website, doing live courses. Now, he normally does courses where he fits 6 to 8 people. I think he only keeps them small, and he charges a fee for that, which is fine. He's got to travel, provide stuff and everything. So have a look out for those. So he does them. I know he's done one in Pacific Pinball Museum. I think that was just last year. Might have been just before I came over to the States. We did live training at Expo. That was the first time that had been done. Like, we advertised on a whiteboard at 11 a.m. we'll be doing score reels, Gottlieb score reels. And there was 3 of us. There was Mark, David Valansky, and myself. Take turns, and I think I did one of the first sessions, and it was a match unit was seized up in a game. So, okay, let's pull that out and show people how to overhaul those. And I think we had about maybe 7 or 8 people at each session having a look. People would stop by, stick their head in and disappear. But that amount stayed, which is good, I think overall we ran about, maybe 20, just under 20 of those little sessions. They went for an hour. And people were coming up, thanking us and for doing it and asking other questions, which is great, and trying to spread the word about how to fix them. Just through the week, I had a bit of a whinge on both our Facebook group and the EM Pinball group. Look, there's probably maybe 6 or 7 EM sort of specific groups out there now, which, in my opinion, is too many, because everyone that's in EM Pinball or the Goat Shed are also probably in these other groups. That includes myself and Graham. What the problem seems to be is that you get people doing what they call cross-posting. So they ask a question, post it in one group, and at the same time they post it in another group, and even another, and another. I saw one post 4 times. Now, that's okay, you do what you want to do, but a lot of the people that help people out on a daily basis on Facebook, and some of these people are also involved with Pinside, are getting a bit over it. Because one of our people I know messaged me about a month ago and said this is becoming a problem, and I agreed with him. He spent, maybe he said to me, in real time, about an hour and a half researching some things for a guy, really going overboard to help this guy, wrote up his findings, told him to do this and do that. In the meantime, the poster has gone off to one of his other posts where probably someone with a lot less experience than this person is trying to advise him, and the guy's listening to the other person. Now, can you imagine? That really annoyed, and let's be frank, pissed off that particular person who spent an hour plus of his time trying to help. So, it's free, people. It's free. And a lot of people just don't care. And so those people that do constantly cross-post apparently have been duly noted, and none of the, or most of the experienced people won't go in and help those people any longer. We like to see continuity. The EM Pinball group was really here first, and Graham and I became administrators of that, oh God, way before we even started the Goat Shed. Hi Chuck, and thank you. And the only reason we started the Goat Shed was because our good friend Marco Rossignoli, you know, the world famous pinball author who wrote books with Graham as well, used to post stuff we were doing on the Newcastle Pinball Association page. Anyway, Marco said, look, this is silly. Why am I doing this when we've got Facebook? So he said, look, I'll set you up a Facebook page, and all you do is you can put your own posts on. And really it was just meant, we thought, oh, okay, we'll probably get 50, 100 people from our local area involved, and that'll be that. It's just a low-key group, and away we go. But, you know, I think at the moment we've got just under 5,000 members. And that's another thing that we do. We probably knock back 50% of the people that apply to join our group, because there's 3 simple questions asked when you want to join our group. Just 3. They're very simple. Whereabouts in the world do you live? Like if you live in the USA, you just write USA, or you can write Wisconsin, USA, or Chicago, USA, or whatever you want. What's your favourite EM pinball machine? And do you agree to the rules from the admin? They don't bother. So Spanky over the last month or so has not been bothering, just dismisses those. And some of them have actually come back and answered the question. Now, we're just doing that because we don't want to be the biggest group. We don't. EM Pinball is the biggest group. But we've got that sealed at the moment. No new members can join unless they're invited, simply because of the spammers and scammers that we're getting in, and that's what we're trying to avoid. But anyway, that's another story. So read over about that, but that's what's happening, and you know, it's free for God's sake, and yeah, make sure you thank the people and tell them what's wrong with it. And that's just one other thing. Someone starts a thread about a problem they've got, and a lot of people say, oh, following, or they put an F, which I think means they're following, because other people are interested in what that problem is, because they may have the same problem. I've been a bit slack on our Facebook group lately. I often put, look, we're working on this. These were the 3 problems, and this is how we fix them. I mean, we do address that in videos a lot these days, but people are interested in these things. They want to know what's going on. They want to know how you fix that, what you did to fix it. So, yeah, that's about it. I got some sample parts from a guy in China the other day. A lot of you might have seen on Facebook a guy advertising LEDs and God knows what else. Anyway, I was interested in a couple of the things he had, and I asked him to send me samples, and at first he wanted some ridiculous amount for postage. I said, no, they're free samples. You only have to send me one of what I'm asking for, and it was only about 6 items. I said, and that's that, and I'll assess them, and if we like them, we'll buy them. And anyway, he came back and he sent them, but I think reluctantly. Anyway, I've had a look at the quality of them, and you know, it's made in China. It's not too bad. Some of the things look like they've been mass produced, and some things look like they've been produced on a printer, you know, a 3D printer. Anyway, we'll wait and see. As I've mentioned before, the cost of parts has really hit the roof since COVID, and more so the cost of freight, shipping, very expensive. Don't know if any of you heard on the roof. We've got in a tin roof here, as you can sort of see up there. Just had a little bit of light rain. It's still very humid, so we're going to have to put up with that for a little while longer. But I'm just trying to think what else we've had going on. A little notepad here. We've got a Gottlieb ice review. It's the Attaboy one. I just can't think of the name of that one at the moment. In the front shed, came in, and the guy carried it up here on the back of a ute, and he left the head on it, didn't he? Guess what? The wind caught it, the head fell forward. He was very lucky not to break the back glass. Ice show, I think it's called. And but he's really mucked up the cabinet, so we've had a quote to fix his cabinet, and that's part of the base of the head and the all round where the pedestal is and the back of the bottom cabinet. That's $650. Now, if he had have done the right thing and pulled it apart, which I think we mentioned to him, but he didn't, and he's paid that price. So yeah. Hey Tim, thank you so much for your super chat. That is much appreciated. Look, it's humbling to go to a place like the United States, which is the pinball capital of the world. People come up to you, say hi, thanks for your videos, and just want to know a bit more about what you do and everything like that. Just the general camaraderie of this whole hobby is fabulous, you know. Now, to receive gifts like money, we really do appreciate it. A lot of people don't realise, and we've said this many, we're not a business, we don't have a goat shed bank account. Sometimes we've got to save up to buy things, you know. As an example, our ultrasonic cleaner, which is now 3-year-old, and we use it almost every day, sort of has been giving up the ghost for the last probably 12 months. It's something to do with the heating cycle. Excuse me. It still barely goes, but it's nowhere near as efficient as it was when it's new. We had a bingo machine in here a while ago, and we repaired things on it for the guy. We couldn't get it going. We said to the guy, look, 100% we weren't happy with it. We didn't have more time to spend on it. We said, look, you can have it back, free of charge, no charge. And the guy wouldn't have that. He said, look, I know you put a lot of time into it. I really appreciate that. I want to buy you something for the goat shed. What could I buy you? And I said, well, look, you know, our ultrasonic cleaner really needs replacing. And he said, well, look, how much will that be? And I looked it up and told him. So he's bought us a new ultrasonic cleaner, which will arrive here on Monday. And that's great. So any money that you give us, we don't go down to the pub and spend it. We go and buy things for pinball machines with it, and things that we might need. And I mean, we're always needing to buy parts. And as I mentioned 20 minutes ago in the video, I spent just under $1,000 buying parts when I was over there. So, you know, you've got to have coil sleeves. You've got to have flipper bats. You know, you've got to have coil stops. There's a multitude of parts that you need. You know, we use probably every second step we get. That part there, that one I'm pointing to, that's the drive arm stop. Now that's part number A for Apple 256. They break because, you know why they break? Because the adjustment of the drive arm stop against the relativity of when you raise the drive arm up and it rests against the coil stop, you've got to have a thin clearance between the drive arm and there. Well, over the years the coil stop wears in, the coil plunger wears down, and of course that increases the travel here, and then that takes the load of that travel and eventually breaks. So, you know, they do break, and thank goodness, and I've often said this, thank goodness we have people like the Pinball Resource. I mean, for goodness sake, if we didn't have them, you wouldn't have as many pinball machines around, or you'd have to try and weld that if you had the old part. And, you know, it's difficult to weld small parts. Some people might be experts at it, don't know. So we like to support the pinball resource. Steve Young is a great guy. I've been up to Poughkeepsie 3 times now, so in other words, each trip we make to America, or I've made to America. I've made the effort from New York City. It's a lovely train trip, I think it's about an hour 40 in the train from Grand Central Terminal up the Hudson River and end up in Poughkeepsie, and you've got a great pub up there, O'Malley's or Marnie's, I can't remember. But please, just don't lob up to Steve's expecting to receive reception there, as he's a very busy man, and we make the time, and we generally go after hours, so after he's closed to see him. But make sure you support people. And every day we read, oh, I couldn't see it on his website. No, you won't see all the parts he's got on his website, simply because he's got that many parts that he would need to employ a full-time webmaster to administer his website. And you know what that will do, people? That will jack the prices up significantly. So there's parts manuals you can buy. Buy a parts manual off him. Then if you get the Gottlieb 1978 parts manual, that sort of goes right back into the 60s and even the 50s in some cases. And you'll get a part number, and that helps. And there's a guy there called Louis. He's the guy that answers all the parts emails that you send to whatever it is, orders at PBR, Pinball Resource, or whatever it is. He does that. He replaced Jimmy. And I only learned just recently that Jimmy, who was the guy that always used to do the parts for years and years and years, he retired, and the poor bugger died. So Jimmy's died. That's a terrible shame. And yeah, that's no good. I guess we all die, but you retire. How often do you hear about that? Someone retires and next minute they expire, which isn't good. I must be fortunate. I've been retired 10 years now. It's a funny, isn't it? I retired September 30, 2014. I arrived in America on September 29. Come September 30, I never even gave it a thought until about a week later. But yeah, retirement. I'm not retired. I work here full time now. We only have Sundays off. Yeah. It's sort of how to say, it's fun, you know. Like we broke that day up going away, and this week, and that was well worth it. Now I think I mentioned this before, maybe 6 months ago. What we hope to do with these live sessions is do some live repairs, training. So we might be working on things like a game, a particular game, and we might discover a fault, and we might do a bit of fault finding with you live. The last video we did on Jungle Queen, we had the schematic, we hung it up on the wall over there. I'll show you the wall. Hung it up over here on the filing cabinet, and we illustrated the problem on the schematic, and one of those problems was in the circuit for the match. The match light stayed on. You started a new game and the match light was still on, so we showed you how to read the schematic and find out what that was. And the other problem was, what was it? Oh, how quickly you forget. We used the schematic to find something. Oh dear, I can't remember. It might come to me in a minute. So, like I said, this we've got here is Card Whiz, and just over here we've got the replay unit. It sticks. It sticks in. You can sort of see that. Plunger's stuck in now. I've got to pull it down manually. Does it reset it? It might reset a bit. yeah, it resets, but it doesn't drive forward properly. So like I said, this is Kyle's machine. We'll show him what's the matter with that, and we'll pull that down and fix it. Because once you service it the way we service it, readers, folks, viewers I should say, you will not have to service the damn thing, for another 20 years. But we hope you do pay a bit more attention to them when you know how to pull them down. That's the problem with a lot of these machines. They're money-making machines. The operators wanted the nickels and dimes in them. They didn't want them to be out of water so long. I kind of get why springs were cut in a hurry, but they cut springs and things to overcome the problem, not fix the problem, if that makes sense. In other words, you've got a binding part, so let's make that spring stronger. Let's make it pull that in, and the part's still got all the grease and crap in it that caused the problem in the first place. That's like these, what do you call it, screws? Shoulder screws. I mentioned earlier on. Try and get it in focus a bit. There's a shoulder screw out of a Gottlieb. Now the problem is that they put white grease here on them at one point in time, and that just goes hard after a while, and it's just no good. It just causes the shoulder screw to bind and lock up, and you've got to clean them. And as I say, we put those in the ultrasonic cleaner, and away they go. Now, we've done a lot of videos on step units and things like that over the years. We've got a couple to do yet, like I think we've got to do a Bally player unit and a Williams player unit, and maybe even a Williams bonus unit, possibly a Bally as well, but we see more Gottlieb games than Bally in here for some unknown reason. They're the more popular. Now, once again, I'm just going to remind you, they're available. $5 each Australian pickup, $10 each Australian postage to anywhere in Australia, $15 US dollars posted to anywhere in the United States. As for Canada, I think it's just a touch dearer, I can't remember. So if you want one, let us know. I haven't got too many of those left. Alright, well it's probably a good time when I ask, do anyone have any more questions? Chuck, yeah, hi Chuck. It's sub-zero here in Ohio. Excuse me, when I drove through Ohio, it was fall, and we drove over this wonderful bridge. I can't remember where it is. It's the second time we've been over it, and there's it's like you see in the movies, there's rapids and that there, and I don't know if rapids are the right word, but it sort of looks beautiful, and the trees on the edge of it in the autumn or fall, it's great. So Eric here from TN, now let me guess, TN would be Tennessee, is that right, Eric? Thanks for passing on your knowledge, hope you join a repair session sometime. Yeah, okay, great. When we do those repair sessions, we'll probably give notice and say, hey, we're gonna run these sessions. Sometimes we just get a bit carried away, a bit busy, and we don't remember. Or we fix something and say, hey, we should have videoed that, and it's all too late. We've already been there and done it. If you understand what I mean. You probably think crazy Australians, but time's of the essence. Sometimes you want to get a job finished. Yeah, Tennessee, okay, yeah. So I'm learning. Once upon a time, I hardly knew anything about America. The only thing you knew about was, what you saw in the movies. But there's so much to see in the United States. I won't ever get to see it all, but I'm going to try and get to see as much as I can. As I mentioned earlier, next trip will hopefully be a bit more about having a vacation rather than all about pinball. Because I'm going to tell you, after a couple of weeks over there, I'd seen enough pinball machines to last me almost a lifetime. But hey, when you've got your head in their innards and you're fixing them, it makes you happy. I guess one thing that we often say and do here is keep it simple. You know, like if a problem isn't where the schematic indicates, you've still got the problem. It's got to be somewhere else. Now, what does that mean? It means, like, for argument's sake, you might have a resetting problem and you keep thinking it's a reset relay. It doesn't matter whether it's a stepper or a score unit, but in fact the problem's further back down the track where something's not causing that reset relay. Or if there's only one switch in that reset relay that could possibly be the problem, examine that switch very closely. Examine the solder contacts to make sure that you haven't got a cold solder joint, a loose or spinning contact pad. Here's another thing that you can get, and this came out of Jungle Queen. See how that's all burnt, and the actual ladder has been widened. I'm trying to hold that so you can get an angle on it. Yeah, you can see that ladder's been widened, right, because of the arcing of the switch. I'll hold that there in front of my face. You can clearly see that. You've got to change that, because the switch blade, it's not moving when the ladder moves, it's moving later because of that great gap. In other words, when the switch blade moves, switch blade's got to move as soon as the ladder moves. If the ladder's moved, then the switch blade moves later. Haven't got a relay here handy. I hope you get that. Yeah, you get a few of those. There was there another one there? Oh, there's, you know, you get those buzzing relays. There's the reason why in a lot of cases. See the indentations? Get a Dremel flapping tool, which is one of these. And you sand that down, and then you finish it off, smooth it down with the carbon fibre brush. That one. That's the one that you use to clean switches. Now I emphasise on that, we've done a video on how to clean switches with a Dremel, but you can't fit that part won't fit in the switch blades of an ordinary AG relay. You've actually got to take the switch stacks, loosen the screws in the switch stacks, or take them out of the comb, which is a fair bit of work, you know. So really, unless you were doing a full restore, you probably wouldn't do that. But the bigger switches you can get at, like we clean the flipper cabinet switches with those, we clean the big lock-in switches on some of the step units. When we've got the replay units or the bonus units apart, we clean the switches there with the Dremel, because you can get at them. So, you know, there's some of the things that you find in your day-to-day activities. You find really badly worn, don't know if this is going to stick out in here. This is a filthy worn, oh yeah, it should. There are. Ah. Oh, here we go. See how indented that is, and the dings in it? That's indented. Look at that. That's had it. That's a coil stop out of a bonus unit on what's one of the games? It's one of them games where the bonus unit fires all the time. Goes right round, you know. And that game also had a broken coil casing. It has coil casings that break. Yeah, so, you know, you get all these weird problems. Remember, these machines in most cases, so if you've got a Spirit of 76 from 1976, So what's that? That's 48 years old. So, you know, and then if you've got a machine from 78, that's 44-year-old. They're all getting on, so you get more problems, you know, more worn parts and things like that. We often answer questions on the Goat Shed Facebook page for people, and a lot of the times they've just bought a machine, brought it home, and they plug it in, something doesn't work, and they want to fix that. That's fine. But you really got to go through the whole machine, have a look, even if just visually, have a look, watch things work. You'll often pick things up. We've shown you this in videos where we just by scanning a motorboard, you might find a wire out off a relay. That'll save you like maybe a lot of heartache and things like that if you're not used to that sort of thing. Okay, well, won't go on too much longer. Did I miss anyone's message here? Eric is asking, does anyone have an extra spinner mech for a Grand Prix? A spinner mech. Okay, Eric, you should be able to buy all those parts off. You're talking about the spinner where the ball goes through and spins for 100 points a spin, or yeah, I hope. Anyway, all those parts are available from PBR. You can generally buy them, and yeah, just you should be able to get that. Even if you put an ad up on the Facebook group, someone will help you out. And just remember too, people, whenever you put an ad up you wanted to buy, especially a machine, in any of these groups, there's going to be scammers out there. The people who ask you to PM or DM them, you go and look at their profile and you'll often find that there's very little there, or they're friends with a whole heap of people from a foreign country that none of us know how to speak the language. So just watch out for scammers. We try and keep them out of our group. A few have snuck in, they change their names regularly and things like that, but we get rid of them as soon as we see that. That's a dead giveaway. The spelling that they might make and the fact that they ask people to DM them and often turn comments off. And we just got another thing here. Scott Jacko 87, agree fully on the vision inspection. I've got to go through your latest Jungle Queen video yet. I'm slowly fixing up a jungle machine. Okay, that's great. Yep. And don't forget, people, in our Facebook group, we answer our technical questions. We don't try not to do it on YouTube comments because that way no one else really gets any benefit from it. We spoke about that earlier on. So yeah. All right, well, I'll end the video now. Thank you so much for watching. It's much appreciated. I've got to now see how Graham's going, and I've got a few other little things to do. It's Saturday morning, and then this afternoon I've got a Christmas party to go to at the pub, so that should be good. Bye for now.